Hello.
Hi, I want to welcome everyone back to another episode of Soul Impact How Music Saved Us. I'm your host, Willie, and today with us we got Heather Black. So, Heather, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm a mother of three. I am a lead singer for a rock band called Destroyers of Silence. I am currently also doing a side project, just producing some music on my own. I haven't released it yet. It's a work in progress. I've been involved with music since I was 13 years old, pretty much, and loved it all my life. And grew up with the MTV generation when MTV was still good and had actual music videos. I'm that old, so yeah, I'm glad to be here and looking forward to exploring this avenue with Willie here.
So, part of this is like for me a little bit about myself. I had a pretty rough upbringing, and music basically was my saving grace. My love of music coming at an early age. I'm not musically talented, however, that's why I run sound. Um, So, can you tell me a couple times where music has saved you?
Sure. I actually was put in the group home and foster care situation when I was 11 years old. I was living in a group home in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and I've never been one person to kind of connect with other people. I've always I'm an extrovert now, but back then I was very introverted and really didn't know who I was as a person. So a lot of the times when I felt overwhelmed with my situation, I would go in my room and listen to music. And back then it was 91, 92. So I was really into Prince. One of my housemates was actually a metalhead. And, uh, and I, would get into, listening to Nelson. I know they're not quite as metal. They're more of a hair band, but I really got into Poison and, just, just those quintessential metal 80s bands, 80s and 90s. Always had a love of Bon Jovi. Not so much anymore, but because now I've just discovered the older 70s metal, so and hard rock, and I really lean towards Black Sabbath a little bit more than I do Nelson and Poison, uh, but yeah, that's when I was 13 was the house mothers, I guess we would call them staff or house parents. Um, I saw advertisement in a newspaper, and it said that they wanted to audition people for a show in Nashville, and I um, had just got done singing "Amazing Grace" at my grandfather's funeral, so uh, and it was a really tough time for me because not only was I losing one of my favorite family members, I was also living in this group home situation. And I said, you know what? Life can't get any scarier. I want to go try out for this. So one of my house parents took me to the mall. Actually, no, it was at a mall. It was at a hotel in Cape Girardeau. And I tried out for the show and I got on to the show, but I wasn't able to go. They wanted me to go to Nashville. Um, but they couldn't get permission from my parents, nor could they take me legally. So I had to miss out on that opportunity. But that's when I realized, hey, I can learn how to sing better. I can use this as something to do and get me out of my shell, and that's how that wound up came about. And that's actually how I first started performing.
Right on. Yeah, they definitely don't make music like they used to.
Mm-mm.
Um, no matter the genre. For me, I was raised on, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, Conway Twitty, the outlaw country. So they don't make, I don't care the genre. They don't make rock the way they were used to. They don't, there's
Mm-hmm.
too many intermix of each music anymore to call it one or the other.
Mm.
Um, Sorry about that. My daughter came out.
Oh, that's okay.
um, but yeah, pretty much. Well, you kind of already answered the question about who your biggest musical impact was. See, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
So
actually, not real. I mean, I love Blondie. Like Blondie and Fleetwood Mac are probably my top two musical influences, and
right
that's
on.
what really. And Pat Benatar, I can't forget her, and Joan Jett and the Black Hearts. I mean,
There's too
I
many
love.
good ones to count.
There's too many good ones to count, and so and I like to consider myself a humorous person. So Weird Al Yankovic. I mean, I have eclectic music taste. If it has a beat, I can dance to it and sing to it. It's on my playlist.
Listen, I also like Ray Stevens, so I mean, I have that musical sense of humor myself. You know, so yeah. So how long now have you actually? Because when I first met you, you were in a different band. So how long have you actually been pursuing music?
uh, well, I actually took cello in eighth, eighth and ninth grade. So I learned how to play cello, and I was in orchestra for a couple of years. Also choir. I started choir in seventh grade. So not only was I in choir, I was also in an orchestra. So I had two classes that I got to
So you're well
escape.
diverse then.
Huh?
So you're
Yeah.
very well diverse then.
Hmm. Like, oh yeah, if I could have gone and learned opera, how to do opera, I would have done it. Um,
So without prying too much is that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to my plan with this is I want kids to go or even young adults that are going through struggles like for me it was being raised with an abusive stepdad. So I want kids to know no matter the situation or adults and anyone really that there's people out there that's been through that situation that can kind of help them through it. I mean, that's kind of where this all stemmed from. So I know the easy answer is probably it saved your life, but um, what would you
well,
say the biggest impact music has had on your life? And if you don't mind going in a little detailed, not super detailed, but
mhm. um, well, part of the reason I left home was because I was on suicide watch at 10 years of age. And I just kind of felt like my mom was replacing me because it was just my mother and I for a longest time. And when she got married to my stepdad, he wasn't the nicest of people. He's better than most, but not awesome. Not at least not to me. But in hindsight, I was kind of a little brat. I was very I had what they called oppositional um disorder against authority. So very much a rebel. I was in the principal's office all the time, but now I'm
hey,
such a goody. Like people think I'm such a goody goody, but
it's okay. I was there a lot too. Um, until I got talked into joining football. So then I learned how to channel that aggression, and I'm
mhm.
sure you write too, don't you? You write some of your own stuff as well.
Yes, I do write lyrics for the most part. I never learned how to play guitar. I'm actually trying to learn it, but it's a very slow process when you have downstairs neighbors and you're not really supposed to have musical instruments in the apartment. Um, but yeah, I write lyrics mostly, and what I do with my band is they come up, they're more musically inclined for like instrumentals and instruments, but whereas I'm more of a lyricist. So I try to take what I have wrote and put it to what they have musically, like came up with. So I'll just like take my lyrics and fit it in with what they have and lay it on top of whatever they come up with. We haven't really released any originals yet. We're still trying to get a band list together and have an actual set list for a whole night at a venue. And then later, the originals are going to make more of a impact or get kind of integrate what originals we've been working on.
Okay.
Um,
So
but but I wanted to switch back to before to talk about the hostage like suicide thing. Um, and you might have to put a trigger warning on this. I don't know because some people don't like to hear about this, but yeah, that's what kind of like led me to go into the group home and foster care situation because they thought a different home life would be better for me than what I was in, and um, that really shaped me as a person because the only way I could feel like I could like kind of get outside myself and get out of my brain was to listen to people's stories through their music and lyrics and just create like a whole other world listening to their songs, basically.
yeah, and I mean, and I've heard you perform several times. That's one thing I've noticed about you is even when you sing, no matter what you sing, you make it your own. And whether it's a song that's been written for 40 years or a song that you just wrote, the amount of heart you put in a song, no matter who you are, I think people feed off that more than people realize. Because if you can write a song about going through divorce and you just write this song and it has no melody, no rhythm, it's just flat, no emotion, people's not going to listen to that
Mm-hmm.
because it, for me anyways, I want to feel like when I hear somebody sing, I want them to hear them make it their own. I want to hear them put their heart into it. And I can say I've seen in you a couple times. You definitely do that. Um, but doing so, I'm sure you've had some songs that while you're trying to sing them, they've kind of teared you up a little bit. Can you think of a couple songs that have kind of tugged at your heartstrings?
Oh, sure. Unbreakable Heart by Carlene Carter. Uh, it's a very beautiful melody, and it's about a broken home, basically.
Yeah, I know the
An
song. It's a really good song.
empty house, a broken fairy tale, a hollow grave with empty arms. See, it's very, very
Oh,
beautiful, and it just makes me kind of tear up every time I sing it. It really does. No matter how long I usually sing it like off the fly when I'm feeling it.
so as someone that's in the music industry, what would be some advice you could give
To somebody,
someone that wants to pursue it and about writing the music, performing, the way they use
uh,
their heart?
uh, for performing, just try to feel the music, like you said, as much as possible. Number two, you're never too old to get started. Like I'm in my late 40s,
No way.
so I didn't really get started with the band until 2 years ago, and that was with Pandora's Lane. and then that band, and I went to Chasing the Apocalypse, um, and then I was asked to come back to perform with another band that kind of grew out from Pandora's Lane. So I was kind of torn between two bands. I loved them both, and both were very musically different.
Very.
Very musically different. um, Not to say one was worse than the other, because they both had their strengths and we both have our weaknesses. Like we're looking for a keyboardist, um, and a second guitar player wouldn't hurt. So if any of you out there would like to join a heavy metalish, well, we kind of have a versatile range too, but we are looking for a keyboardist and a second, a rhythm guitar player, as it were. But my advice is not like to go back, is you're never too old to get started, and just do it. As the Nike slogan says, just do it. I was chicken. Can I cuss on here?
Go ahead. I mean, as long as you're not swearing every five
No,
words,
okay.
I mean,
So I was so chicken shit. I could have auditioned for American Idol back when it was a thing, but like I said, I was too chicken shit. Didn't think I had it in me, didn't think I was good enough. You always, like, we're our own worst critics. And that's my thing is I lost a son to cancer in 2021. And music also got me a lot through being with him, trying to get him better. Um, we would listen to Weird Al Yankovic. That's why Weird Al Yankovic is so special to me, because I was able to share some of my favorite music artists with him. Because it's a lot of time spent in the car when you're going to and from appointments, back and forth to Memphis I was living in Raleigh at the time. So that's like a 5 hour drive, and you do a round trip. That's 10 hours of music. And I mean, we just put on XM radio, would play anything from 80s music, any, like, he liked to listen to, like, the Comedians, Laugh Factory, and we would put Weird Al Yankovic on. And that's one thing that got us through. That was just having all that car time together, getting to know my son a little bit better, and what he wanted to listen to, as well as stuff that I wanted to listen to. And but losing him made me realize that you could wake up, you might not wake up tomorrow. And try not to cry, but yeah, you might not wake up tomorrow, and you don't want a whole bunch of what ifs living
exactly.
around your head.
Exactly. I mean, look at the people from the campground and the festivals we do. We've lost three people in less than a month. I mean, the impact that has and the hurt. I mean, I was 14 and my stepdad would beat the tar out of me, and my real dad had passed away, and you know I was at a very dark road, and you know so sometimes when you find that dark road, it's about these songs that come on the radio unintentionally. The radio's on, you're driving and you're not paying attention, or you're just sitting there and the radio comes on and you're not, it's just in the background, and all of a sudden you catch a lyric, and next thing you know, you're 5 months from whatever that situation was. For me, most recently, it was my divorce. My divorce wrecked me. So, just learning, and part of music, it helps you learn to love yourself again. It really
Hmm.
does, because you find these songs, matter the genre, country, rock and roll, heavy metal, you know, that you have these songs that deal with heartaches. And you're going to find, if you're going through divorce, there's songs about that. You're going through a family loss, there's songs about that. you're depressed and you don't know why. There's songs about that. So, and that's what great thing about music is that you can relate no matter what the situation is. It gives you a lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know you said you're kind of working on some stuff of your own, or
Mm-hmm.
um, is that something we might be able to see in the future, or maybe on your Facebook, or
Yeah, I'm probably going to post a couple of the songs here in about, I would say, a month. Uh, and I wanted to touch back on what you said about listening, catching a lyric. Andrew had a fight song called "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor. That was the song that we would play to get him amped up, you know. And I feel like whenever he's around, he'll somehow that will come on the radio. Of course, it's hard for me to listen to it all the way through. So I'm like, oh, you know, that's Andrew like saying hi. But and it seems like when you are going through a breakup or a divorce, that every song that comes on the radio is a breakup song
that's right, or a cheating song. You either got a
or a
breakup
cheating
song
song
or
or
a
the
cheating
cheating
song.
song, and you're like, oh my gosh, and you're like, you know.
Skip, skip. So yeah,
And I'm one of those people that's actually still listen to the radio in my car. Like a lot of people will just stream their own music playlist, but I find that if you do that, then you're not open to other music and music styles that are coming on the radio. And then you're kind of like, then you get like 5 years, 2 years behind on what is musically
what's current?
trending, what's current. Because I'm like,
See,
oh, that's a good song. And I like look and oh, it's 3 years old.
yeah, see, for me, I try to listen to the radio, but I drive a lot, and
Mhm.
especially I listen to radio until I lose service, and then I throw my Spotify up. I listen to, I got artists that I've met through the years, and that I just kind of play their stuff or
So
play some.
I want to know, who have you met? Like, what are like musical acts have you met? Now I'm the interviewee
Well,
or
I tell you,
interviewer.
my favorite one I've ever met was Darth Brooks.
Oh wow, okay.
We were my kids. We were going up to Boonville area, and they have that casino up there. And my oldest boy, he was actually started singing the song "Friends in Low Places." He loved that song, and he would sing it over and over. Well, he actually going to his bus started singing with him.
Oh
So
my
then
gosh,
it was
yeah.
actually one of the coolest experience I've ever got. But I mean, I've met a lot. Um, to pick out one, I really can't. I mean, I've met some that are like, man, meeting you was a mistake because you're a bigger jerk in person than I thought you would be. And I've seen artists where little boys come up to them, want autograph, and they shoot them down because they don't have money to pay for the autograph.
That's like no.
And to me,
And
that breaks my heart.
that's yeah, that's awful.
So for
Yeah.
me, I mean, it depends on the artist. Like, and especially with me doing sound, I meet a lot of people. And I've gotten really close with some of these artists and bands. Well, me and you, we've gotten close over the years. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of artists that I know and I've met. I mean, but right now, a lot of these local artists, they pull more at my heartstring than some of these guys that have been on the road 4 or 5 years because, well, y'all put your heart into it, and you ain't got some of these artists get the Hollywood effect.
Mhm.
Well,
Well, their music becomes very commercial, and it's not what they want to write. It's the
what they're being told to write.
what they're being told to write and what to perform.
I
And
mean,
that's where I think it's sometimes better to be the little the little star or the up and coming person than somebody that's already been corrupted by that
So let's
lifestyle.
flip your script. You asked me, let's flip your script. Who would you say?
Um, to get of all the people I've met that are musical artists, a lot of them I actually met um, through the hospital with Andrew because they do like to bring in people to come in to visit with the children and um but saying that I would rather have my son here than to meet any of them people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
um but we met Macy Gray. um she was there to perform for the kids and to sign autographs, and she I wanted to meet her. My son, not so much. Of course, when you're 10 years old and you want to go back to your room so you can play video games nonstop and play Minecraft, and he did not want to meet her. So it's like, please, mommy really wants to meet Macy Gray. And he's like in the line and he's just like, I want, who is this person? I don't know who this woman is. I want to go back to my room. I want to play video games. I'm hungry. I was like, and she could hear everything. And she's in line and she's just like, I could look over and I could see her giggling because she's there to whine and cry about wanting to go back to his room to play video games. So when we get up to her finally, she asked him what his name was, and she signs this big poster, and it says, "Andrew, be good to your ma, Macy Gray." Because and then we met not Ryder, Winona Judd, and she has always been a favorite country artist of mine. So when I got to meet her, I was like, oh my gosh. And we didn't even know we were going to meet her. They had actually kept her performance a secret until she got to St. Jude and did the party. And I was dressed up like Marie Antoinette because it was Halloween. It's a costume party. Uh, Andrew, I think he was a pirate. He dressed up like a pirate. And my ex-husband, well, he was my husband then. He dressed up like a cowboy. So we're there on line to meet her, and she looks at my big wig and my big ball gown, and she goes, "Man, my mom always said if you didn't go big, you had to go home." And she goes, "And you went big." And I actually got to sing, like they had karaoke and that night at the party, the Halloween party, and I sang and Winona Judd was there and she heard me sing. And that was like, and people were in line and they thought it was Winona Judd singing because they couldn't see who was singing the karaoke. And they were like coming up to me and they're like, "We thought you were Winona." Because I did No One Else on Earth, which is one of my favorite Winona Judd songs. But there were people that couldn't see who was singing karaoke and they were coming up at, like, "We thought you were Winona." I was like, "No, it's just me." And that was a big compliment. I'm like, there's no way I sound like Winona. she's she's phenomenal. And of course we met Weird Al. Andrew got to meet, and he's probably one of my favorite people. And like he is. Um the I actually had to reach out to his manager, Weird Al Yankovic's manager, to uh to get him to meet Andrew because that was Andrew's second round of cancer. And that was the same year that we went to Yellowstone. Like we had Whirlwind Week. One was going to Weird Al Yankovic's concert, and then the other part of that week was, or maybe it was that was a Branson trip. I'm sorry. We went down to Branson to with my ex-husband's parents, and that was just a week that we didn't know how this treatment was going to go for him, for Andrew. So I want to make sure that he actually got to meet Weird Al. So I had to reach out through somebody on Facebook that knew Weird Al's manager, and they were able to get us tickets to Weird Al's concert in St. Louis. And we met Weird Al. He took about 15 minutes of his time after his concert to talk to our family. And he asked us where we were from, and we said, Rolla, Missouri. And he's like, my daughter, she's at MST right now. She's at that camp convention. And he goes, so when we go back to pick her up with the tour bus, where do you guys recommend to eat? I said, oh, Made Right. Oh, I love their burgers. I was telling Weird Al all about Made Right and their crumbled meat. You know, you had Made Right. Oh my gosh, next time I see you, I'm going to have to get you Made Right. They are the best. But he's like, that's all well and great, but I'm a vegetarian. So I was talking to Weird Al Yankovic about these awesome Made Right burgers. And the whole time he's just like nodding politely and yeah.
Well, listen,
And
we're probably going to be about ready to wrap this up.
oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're
Yeah.
good. You're good. So let's see. We already asked that. We already asked that. I'm thinking in my head. I'm sorry. So musically, where do you see yourself in the future?
Well, I would love to be on tour with Destroyers of Silence, of course, and actually doing a Missouri tour. And I want to start a solo project with myself with the music that I'm doing right now, which is mostly funk and EDM, electronic dance music. Which is kind of funny because there's not a whole lot of vocals in EDM nor funk
This is
or
true.
funk. Funk. Um, and like I said, it's gonna be a very eclectic kind of record, different types of musical styles. I'm not. It's just gonna be a streaming kind of thing. Maybe throw a couple songs up on the Facebook, YouTube it a little bit. Yeah, so
But when you do, you make sure you let me know, and I'll
oh,
share it around for you.
definitely. Yeah. And, you know, it was great talking to you outside of just being out in the summer heat and sweating and
It's good
trying
old
to like
Missouri heat.
the Missouri humidity. Yeah, it's the humidity.
It's all of
uh,
it. Okay. I'm a big
yes.
guy. I don't like the heat. I don't like the sweat. Okay.
Weirdly, I'd rather be warm than cold. Like, I thought about moving to Alaska and I'm like,
I want
why
to.
would I do that to myself when I hate being cold?
I want to. I ain't gonna
I
lie.
hear it's a beautiful state, but expensive. So,
All
but
right.
yeah, it was great talking to you and letting people know about my musical journey and everything. And
Well, I appreciate it. We're gonna wrap this up, and again, I want to thank you for coming on, and for you, those of you who are watching, stick tuned for the next episode of Soul Impact. We love to have you back.
yeah, who's going to be your next guest? Do you
I
know yet? Or
I do not know yet. I got a couple I'm working on, so I'm not real sure. I just kind of do with who has availability because I do have some
mm-hmm.
artists that are probably bigger known. Like I've been talking to Big Boy Montana. I don't know if you know who that is. Um,
I don't think so. Is he
but
country? He sounds like
no,
that might be a
no,
country.
no,
No, no.
no, not country at all. I'm actually this Sunday I'll be in St. Peter's. I am going to be his DJ for a show.
Ooh.
So he's going to be on here. I got some couple people from Vibe Fest are going to be on here. In fact, Fire White, we're going to do a live podcast together
Oh yeah, I
uh,
met her a
dog
couple times.
at Dog Days. So I mean,
Mhm.
we got a couple in the fire. I mean, right now I'm just trying to work them in, and then I have a lady that's she's does a lot of work with veterans, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna get her on here to promote her veteran foundation, and she's gonna talk about how music's helped the veterans through it. So I got a lot of irons in the fire. We're just gonna see which one gets hot first, you know.
I want to also mention that I have two other children, not just Andrew. I'm like, oh my gosh, like my daughter, she also is a singer. Her name's Cassie. She's probably better than I am, to be honest.
Well, don't sell yourself short. You were really
No,
good.
I
Don't.
mean, she is phenomenal, and she just doesn't know. She's like me in that regard. She just doesn't know how good she actually is. And then my other son is Nicholas, and he just graduated from high school, so he's kind of like in between that. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his whole life, and he's just tired of school, so he's just kind of in that like mindset. But I did want to mention my other two children as well.
That's right. That's all right. I'm glad you did. That's what we're about. We're about family and helping each other
Yeah.
through hard times. And again, Heather, I want to thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
Um, we might have you back on again once you get some of your music off the ground, so you can kind of promote your music. We
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
look forward to working with you some more.
And for me, it really is about getting my view and out there, and more than it is about the money. But money is nice. It helps, feed you and keep a roof over your head. But for
Living
me,
ain't
it's not.
cheap.
Yeah, for me, it's not the end all be all. But thank you so
Exactly.
much for having me, and have a great day.
You too.
Bye.